about an hour, maybe an hour and a half into the flight, the plane started to experience turbulence. Now, we hadn't been warned about it. There was no the pilot coming on telling us that we are going into turbulence. The plane just started to, I don't know, nothing like we've ever experienced. Flown through storms where you are up and down and it kind of makes you nauseated. This was unlike anything we've ever experienced. It honestly felt like it was tearing the plane apart. And then all of a sudden, the bottom just dropped out. And the plane dropped, and we watched everything around us go up and hit the ceiling. And lots of screaming, lots of panic. The guy sitting next to me, I said, "Wow, you remained pretty calm." He said, "What are you going to do about it?" And I thought, that's true. It's totally out of your control, but it was pretty terrifying.
And let's see, we do a lot of flying. And this was nothing like we've ever experienced. We really thought that this was going to tear the plane apart. And at that point, you kind of think about that. If you start losing pieces of the plane, then how is the plane going to land? And so for a brief moment, we thought we were going to die.
Yes, we did.
And we
We
held
just held
hands
hands.
and looked at each other and went, if we got to go, we'll go together.
I wondered, honestly, at that moment, how long it would take to drop the 30,000 feet, knowing that you are going to die. What is that going to be like? I have no answers for that, other than, like he said, if we're going, at least we'll go together. I guess that was the only, for us, that was the only comfort at that moment was knowing that we were together. There was one girl toward the back that was standing up and she flew up, hit the ceiling, and then came down and landed on somebody. Broke her ribs. I don't know what else. There were others that had broken bones. It was pretty severe. We talked to the pilot, and he said that they rate uh, turbulence and things like that, and he said this was severe. The flight attendant said that she's been flying for 38 years. She's never experienced anything even close to what we experienced yesterday.
Yeah, and they had no warning. Usually the tower or somebody will come on the radio and talk to the pilot, and then he'll say, we're about 5-10 miles out from turbulence, sit down, put your seatbelts on. No
There
warning.
was no warning.
They
It
couldn't
just
warn us.
hit.
Yeah, because they didn't know. It was calm before that. It felt like we crashed into something.
Yeah, it was very sudden because it was a very calm flight and then all of a sudden it hit.
The person helping us, the flight attendant, she flew up into the air, and the people around her grabbed her and held her down, or else she would have hit the ceiling and come down on something and been really seriously hurt.
No, there was no
None
announcement.
whatsoever.
And I didn't because the pilot didn't know what there was nothing to announce.
The crew was amazing. They number one on their minds was the safety and the comfort of the passengers. The pilot did come on after, or when the first wave hit, said, "Please sit down, put your seatbelts on, do not get up." Then after the whole thing, he came back on and said, "We're sorry, we're diverting the plane uh, because there's some severe injuries."
I do have to say that people on the plane were amazing in that he announced that they were bringing the paramedics on to attend to those that were injured. Everybody just stay in their seats and remain calm. And everybody did. We didn't see anybody fighting to get off the plane or freaking out or I mean everybody was just very calm and let the paramedics do their thing. They took the most injured off and then they checked other people who had reported that they felt like they'd been injured during the flight. And everybody was just talking to each other and just very polite, very calm. I do have to say that for all the garbage that airlines have to put up with these days, Delta did very, very well. They ushered the whole 237 passengers into the Delta Lounge. They had drinks and food for us. They brought in blankets and pillows. And there were a lot of people there to help, to tell us what was next. You know, it seemed like forever, but in reality, I think it was a very short period of time, maybe 5, 10 minutes max,
Yeah.
no more than that. Uh, but it's terrifying. Yeah, the pilot said, yeah, the ceiling's been cracked in several places. So, yeah. Well, anything that wasn't tied down was loose. It was very, very strange to just watch. It was almost like slow motion, where you watch the water bottles and the phones and like I say, anything that wasn't tied down, you watched it just go up and hit the ceiling and then it came back down.
There's a noise that's unique to a tornado, and it was almost like that, where it just eerie, and a noise came with the turbulence. So, yeah, again, nothing like we've ever experienced.
We've talked a lot about it, and we think if you interviewed 100 people that were on that flight, you would get 100 different experiences.
Yeah,
Because we heard someone say they felt like the plane did a nosedive. We didn't feel that at all. It was up and then it just dropped. So, yeah, I guess it depends on who you talk to. I did really well during the whole thing, but uh, we got off the plane, and when we got into the airport, I looked at my husband and I said, now I want to cry. Now, for me, that's amazing because I'm not a crier. I don't cry for anything, but um, and then I went to bed and I was almost asleep, and he was at the foot of the bed and he started scratching his head. And instantly it woke me up and my heart was just racing. And it was like, we're going to crash. And then I realized I was in bed, everything was fine. You know, that little bit of PTSD.
yeah, I'm good with it. I don't want to experience it again, but I'm good with flying. Yeah, we both lost our phones for a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, you just watch them go up,
but
come down, and hope you can find them when they come
yeah,
down.
but toward the back of the plane, there was a food cart, went up, hit the ceiling, and came back down. I don't know if that hit anybody, but that's a lot of weight, a lot of power coming down. So 45 years of marriage, she taught me that if it doesn't make a difference 50 years from now, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. If it's something that's going to make a difference in 50 years, then get concerned. And as an Italian New Yorker from Brooklyn, that goes against my grain. That's not how I was raised, but I'm learning, right?
Yeah.
I'm really good. I've perfected it.
Oh, no,
Okay.
quite. You're getting there.